We are transitioning to our next demo, and welcome to the show, Jared Wexler from Common Room,
Thank you so much.
AI-powered PodGen. It
Excited to
is.
dive right in.
Let's dive in.
Perfect. Let me share my screen and we will dive right in. So first off, thank you so much for having me. And today what we're going to dive into is how companies like Grammarly and Notion have helped transform the way that they're generating pipeline by solving what we believe to be the number one problem in B2B today, which is breaking through the noise and relevance. We've all gotten those personalized emails, the saw you went to Cal Poly, go Mustangs, congrats on the new role, what's top of mind going into the new year, or even something along the lines of congrats on the Series B. That level of personalization used to work a few years ago, but in today's age, it's just really not cutting it. And that's where we see this new imperative for GTM, which is the necessity for right person, right message, and right time. The reality that we live in today is pipe gen's harder than ever. Conversion rates have decreased by more than half since 2019. They're actually under 1% now based on a recent report. And we've also seen that buyers are spending over 70% of their time researching anonymously before reaching out to any of us. So the ability to capitalize on your dark funnel has become more important than ever. And where Common Room really comes into play is helping with that level of relevance when personalization just doesn't cut it anymore. The holy grail of GTM is the right person with the right message at the right time. And we're going to dive right into how Common Room helps accomplish that in today's market. If we put ourselves in the seat of a rep and we start our day, every rep has a different flow. If you have a sales team or 10 or more, I'm sure if you were to interview every person, they're going to have slightly different answers to where they start their day and how they start to prioritize. Common Room provides that single place that tells the sellers where they should prioritize and start based on a wide variety of factors and signals that we're capturing. So if I'm a rep, I'm waking up, I poured my cup of coffee, I can see a list of economic buyers with website visits on our free plan, things like close loss engagement, or even something like a CISO who joined the org in the last 365 days. But that's not where Common Room stops. We actually have the ability to show real time why to reach out to this person. In this case, we see that they joined the org recently, they were active on Twitter, engaging with a specific thread, and then some additional intel about the company. So right off the bat, instead of just seeing a person or a number to reach out to, I'm seeing context, research on the person, what signal led me to want to prioritize reaching out to them, and some additional research both on the person and the company level. Common Room also makes it very easy to go ahead and reach out to them in real time. So if I'm ready to reach out, we have AI generated messaging, which can really help with that right message. With this example here, we're weaving in a value prop based on the website page that they visited, which is one of our Salesforce pages. From there, we're throwing in additional value props based on the title. And then we also are alluding to additional website traffic from other people at our company. In this one message alone, we're helping synthesize all these different signals that tend to live in a bunch of different places, and you're really helping break through the noise. So that was a super quick version of how we surface up the right person at the right time with the right message. But if we break that down a little bit, that's where Common Room really shines. Person 360 is our secret sauce of how we find the right person. The second that anyone comes into Common Room, we're running it through our AI-powered waterfall enrichment, which is one of our huge differentiators. We're able to intelligently grab all your classic firmographic, demographic, and even signal-based data points and enrich it at the person level and the company level. The second piece, which Common Room is the only one in the market to do this, is profile unification. If you look at this contact on my screen here, this is our SVP of Sales, Nathan Vroom. And what Common Room does that's really unique is we don't treat a person as an email, but rather we run it through our unification engine and we do things like AI avatar matching. And we know, hey, Nathan at Common Room is actually the same person as his Gmail, who's the same person as his previous employer emails. And that way we're not missing out on all this powerful data that you have living within your CRM, within your data warehouse, and a million other places. This allows us to orchestrate really targeted campaigns. It's not just, hey, Nate used to be a customer. It could be, hey, Nate at his previous org was the person who signed the contract and was an active admin within our tool. So that's really helping drive relevance in the truest form rather than just top level. Common Room's right person doesn't just stop there. We are able to apply a score with a single pane of glass approach. A lot of tools will score someone as high or MQA or something like that, but then sellers don't know how to act on it. Our score is able to take into the classic fit criteria, but also intent. And when you have this level of transparent scoring, sellers know exactly why to prioritize. They know how to weave this into their messaging and their POV of reaching out to this person. And they also feel more empowered to go ahead and give that feedback in real time. We also have some ways that AI can weave itself into our scores, which we'll dive into in just a second as well. But that's a super high level of the right person. When it comes to surfacing up the right person, we also do have a number of ways to make sure you're really slicing and dicing your lists in an impactful way. So sellers, as well as admins, are empowered to zero in on people with specific titles, people that have engaged and been on previous calls based on our Gong integration, maybe even those that have a specific close loss reason. The magic of Common Room is taking data that lives in so many different places and putting it all in one place. And that's what really empowers us to have the right person. Now, the right time is the second piece of the puzzle. And the way Common Room does this is by having the most comprehensive signal intelligence out of any platform in the market. Instead of having reps live in 8+ tools and having to master them, Common Room is able to natively integrate or pull in customly signals from a wide variety of tooling, ranging from your business tools, your product tools like data warehousing, and even other platforms such as Bombora. The pro of this is we're able to make sense of data you may or may not be leveraging, and we don't need to make your reps be experts in reading Tableau dashboards. The way that this pulls into Common Room can be at the person or the account level. And when we dive into a specific company, maybe someone like SemGrep, this is where we can also grab additional data points using our Roomy account research. Our Roomy account research is a great way to standardize the way that your team is working with LLMs. We can grab ad hoc data points, such as compelling events and why they might be in the market for your tool. Or we can actually pull in other signal variables or things from the CRM to really standardize the way you're leveraging that kind of information. The prompts can be used in this use case where I can see it as a rep doing one-off research, but we can also weave this into our scoring within our filters or within our messaging. So Roomy account research is a very powerful way to, again, standardize the way you're using LLMs in your day in and day out and run a lot of these prompts at scale. Just as we can score on the person level, we also have the flexibility of scoring on the account level and multiple scores at that. So we have a lot of customers that are using both signals that are captured as well as agentic research as a mechanism of prioritizing what scores the reps should prioritize, as well as finding some accounts that might be outside of that target account list and using these scores as a trigger to route them to reps and get them into the named account list. Now that we have the right person and the right time, now we're going to focus a little bit on that right message. So with Common Room, you can, again, use these different plays to help strategize the way you can execute messaging. And when you're ready to message somebody, we have a lot of flexibility in meeting your reps where they are. Let's say I'm ready to message a person on LinkedIn. I have a direct hyperlink to her LinkedIn, and I can generate a message using AI to make it hyper relevant. And I can even reprompt it, and then from there, copy and paste it and really show that I did deep research before reaching out. If I'd rather sequence and put them down a traditional path via an SEP, I can press add to outreach or other main SEPs, and then we populate this AI generated messaging directly within your sequences and your cadences. Let's say we have more of an evergreen campaign, and as a rep, I want to make sure I hit my activity metrics. I can also do this in bulk. So instead of going one by one, I do have the flexibility of adding them to sequence in bulk so I can make sure to hit quantity without necessarily giving up quality. As many teams do, if there are any evergreen campaigns, Common Room does have a number of different ways to automate this end to end using our workflows. Some of the most popular workflows that we see across our customer base would be the ability to automatically prospect based on something compelling happening at the org. I like to allude to it as signal triggered prospecting. We can use something like that account research to trigger automatically grabbing and prospecting the right buying committee at these specific companies. And that's what really allows us to go from a Slack alert that says Common Room hit your website to here are 3 people to reach out to at Common Room because Common Room hit your website, as well as other compelling signal that we're capturing. Another powerful workflow we see across our customer base is automatically sequencing on behalf of the rep. So in that earlier example where we might be automatically prospecting, we can also automatically sequence based on the account owner using that relevant AI generated messaging. So in that world, the rep wakes up, they go into outreach or the SEP, and they've had these agentic flows identify, sequence, and personalize the messaging. So we're really helping augment hitting the right person at the right time with the right message. And then the last piece as well, in addition to being able to service up why to reach out to someone directly within the platform, we also have the ability to send these kinds of insight to Slack or via email. So the right person, the right message, the right time, and then also meeting your reps with where they're at is where Common Room can really shine and break through the noise by driving relevance and not just personalization. If you want to learn a little bit more about Common Room, you can request a demo at commonroom.io, or you can feel free to reach out to me directly. And always happy to talk shop and dive into the latest and greatest of how you can use Common Room to really drive agentic GTM motions and leverage signals.
Thanks so much, Jared. Amazing session. We have a couple of questions here in the community in 2 minutes, so let's hit one. What kind of results can we expect after using Roomy?
So what we see quite a bit is I'd say a large increase in both the response rate, the click-through rate and such. I think on one end, it's making the messaging a lot more personalized because are relevant and personalized, but then we're also standardizing it. I think a lot of us have started to standardize down funnel and how we operationalize sales stages. This is how we start to standardize and optimize a little bit more up funnel or pre-funnel, if you will.
Makes sense. And then there are a lot of questions about data accuracy, if you can address that.
Absolutely. So data is very fundamental to Common Room as a business. So our enrichment waterfall is continuously being invested in, and we work with a handful of different providers to make sure we have the latest and greatest. The Person 360 and the profile unification comes a lot from our old community days. So I think because Common Room was built person first, and then we expanded our offering to go into GTM, we have the benefit of starting with the person, and that really embodies itself by treating a person as a person rather than an email address.
Thanks so much again, Jared. And where should our community go to get a test drive?
So commonroom.io, we do have a request demo page, but you can feel free to reach out to me directly on LinkedIn, Jared at commonroom.io, and we'll make sure you get taken care of.
Amazing. Thank you.